Got it.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kerry, Joe, and Cress. Um, I have been using the oils for nearly 18 years and absolutely love the products. I'm also obsessed with great skin, but we've coming together today to have a chat with you about hacking your goal setting, bringing a bit of magic in with lunar manifesting, and of course, using the oils to supercharge that. Kerry?
Hi everyone, I'm Kerry. I am an oil lover from, oh gosh, I don't know, probably 5 years. I am also very passionate about helping people find joy and manifesting and goals and oils and all those beautiful things. So really excited to share all our information with you today.
Hey, sorry, I stepped away there just to get a bit more light. I'm Joe, and I've been playing with oils for about, I think, nearly 3 years, which is awesome. And just recently attended my first Young Living conference, which blew my mind. And now I just feel even more equipped with information to share with everyone, which is awesome. But I'm super excited about this topic today, or some elements of it, because it sits in my new skill set, which is also exciting. So, yeah.
I will share the thingamajig.
The slides.
Technical term there. Here we go.
Brilliant.
I always forget how to move this out of the way. How do I don't know, I'm just going to put it down there. We'll make us little.
Awesome.
And
So
I
just-
think something important to remember as we start to talk about goal setting, someone once said to me is that something that stuck with me, and that's we're all going to wind up somewhere, and few of us wind up somewhere on purpose. And I think that's where goal setting really comes into its own. And it's not getting caught up on necessarily how, but just thinking about things that you might want in the near future, in the distant future, and just having that in the back of the mind.
Yeah, I really like that. That's excellent, because you can just get swept along by society and just things and sort of lose 10 years and forget where you're going, sort of thing. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Kez. That's really good. So I'll kick off. So in our discussion today, we're going to share some lovely things about goal setting. So to extend on what Kerry said, setting goals triggers new behaviours and guides our focus. So I guess to some extent it keeps us in our lane. Do you know what I mean? Like we might veer out because of things like the last 2 years we've just had that can divert our attention and pull us in another direction. So it's really nice to have that base and that framework to come back to. So as part of goal setting, some of the ideas that I like are having a word for the year, which I'll tell an interesting story about my word for the year shortly, which just blew my mind. I also like having affirmations as part of the goal setting, and also to have specific areas to focus on. So pick things in your mind, like spending more time with loved ones, tapping into spirituality, having a look at your own health, spending more time in nature, spending more time with friends and family, whatever resonates with you and whatever you want to grow on and expand on. So, Chris, I'll get you to jump to the next slide, please. Thank you. So with goal setting, I think we've just expanded on that. Do you ever feel like you're sleepwalking through life with no idea of what you want? Perhaps you know exactly what you want to achieve, but you have no idea how to get there. That's where goal setting comes in. Click.
Go.
Yep, thanks.
Maybe just go like this and I'll do it.
I'll go like that, yeah. Goals give us direction by focusing our attention on goal-relevant behaviour and away from irrelevant tasks. So one of those things for me at the moment is mindless scrolling, which I need to stop because it pulls me away from what I'm supposed to be doing. But, you know, in the words of Pablo Picasso, our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success. That's quite heavy. and disciplined, and it sounds quite meaty, but I guess it's what we need to hear sometimes when we drift away from what we're, hoping to achieve. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting when I read that by Pablo Picasso. I mean, his work was looking quite solid and disciplined as well. So yeah. Next slide. Thank you. So there's a method in goal setting, which is known as the SMART method. The acronym is SMART, and we'll step through that because I think it's important to have those steps. And when you're setting the goal, you might go off track even in setting and think, oh, I don't know if that's achievable. I don't know if I can make myself accountable, whatever. So be specific, know exactly what your goal is. So for example, if you want to spend more time in nature, that's one that comes to my mind, which I've been skirting around and I haven't done. So I need to know exactly what my goal is. So I need to be specific and say, okay, once a month, I want to at least go for 1 hour bushwalk once a month. I think that's a very attainable task, which is a little bit further down. Measurable, you can measure and track your goal. These two lovely ladies on this call, very early in our relationship, were discussing things amongst themselves, and they were, I can't remember the terminology you both used. Was it you're going to set a challenge? You're going to challenge you? Is that the word that you use?
Yeah, so Kerry early on would sometimes when you're really resistant to doing something because fear gets in the way. And so Kerry would set me a challenge. And because I've forgotten the term, but, there's all those different ways that they look up and decide how you're going to do things. But if someone sets me a challenge, I really feel like I have to do it. So actually Sylvia set me a challenge the other day as well. But it is, yeah, so when I don't want to do something, sometimes I actually ask Kerry to challenge me because I want to do it because she's asked me to, and it just helps me push past the fear. Yeah. And so, we joke about it a lot. So, just watch out. If you're chatting about something that scares you, you might get a challenge from different kids.
Well, I loved it because I think early on in my business, Kerry set me a challenge to do my business plan, and I actually did it. I didn't want to let her down. I didn't want to let either of them down. So I actually sat down and did it. So that's one example of how to make yourself measurable. You can talk to your friends and say, listen, set me a challenge because I don't want to let you down and I know I'll do it.
Or just call us. We'll set you on.
Yeah, just call us. Exactly. Reach out on socials, whatever. The goal needs to be attainable. So don't set a goal like I need to make $1 million in 4 weeks because you're not going to do it. It has to be attainable. It has to be something. Well, some people will do it, but that's an example of one that wouldn't.
Can I pause there for 1 second?
Yes.
So I agree with attainable, but I don't know if it has to be 100% realistic or allowed a bit of dreaming in there, because I think Harry will agree when we start to bring in the manifesting, sometimes it's about creating that the feeling of the desire that you want and just taking steps towards it. So I'm going to say I think that you can don't let realism push past what you really want. So allow your desire to come out.
I like that.
Because at least if you move towards it, you're winning, right?
Yeah, and you'll get something that's it's beautiful. You will end up achieving something that's beautiful. I really like that. That's very good. Yeah. Relevant. Your goal is exciting and meaningful to you. Well, that talks to what you said as well. That can be dreamy. It can be your own, something that you've not talked about or shared with anyone that you really secretly deep down really want. So go after it. And time bound. You have a clear deadline for your goal. So as I said, for me, I want to get out in nature, and I'm starting with a goal of at least once a month I have to spend an hour in nature somewhere. I'm doing tidbits of it every week or whatever, but not solid blocks of time where I actually look up a location, go for a bushwalk, organize for friends to come along, plan the day. That's something that's really important to me. Next slide, please. I just put there some goal ideas, which I think I talked to before. Improve physical health, improve or ask for help with mental health. This one really resonates with me, and it sits close to my heart as a holistic counsellor. So many people just keep going. Oh, I'll be right. I'll just get through this week. sometimes having an hour chat with a friend or a counselor or someone who you trust in and is open to that type of thing can really make a difference to take a load off your shoulders. So I think that's one that I really wanted to put in there. Spirituality, daily gratitude practice, financial freedom, creativity, time with loved ones and friends. And as we know, my goal at the moment is time in nature. Next slide.
And I think on your mental health one, Jo, something else to mention there is, even if you feel like you're grounded and coasting nicely, maybe a goal could be to connect with your loved ones and just check in on them as well, because often, you know, the ones who are quietly getting on with things might be the ones that just need a, hey, how are you? And just that opportunity to,
absolutely.
To connect.
Absolutely. And I like, you know, in my industry, there's so much evidence at the moment of people just not coping. Like the fight or flight sort of feeling is coming back with this background discussion again of, you know, what's going on in the bigger world. So yeah, people are getting a bit edgy. So it's really good to have the open mind about that sort of thing. So we've just included here a template on, and this is a simple one, and we can put some further information. We might even include something more. I know we included a template in our June Creating Conscious Wellness newsletter, which is lovely. I had a look at that and it's lovely. I put in here just some quick snippets of how you could do it. I don't know about you girls, but I think probably setting 3 goals at a time is probably enough. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then I would probably create an affirmation with each goal and put that somewhere that you're going to see and say those affirmations daily, and that connects you back with it. And if you review it sort of monthly, then you can, you know, assess whether that goal's still important or relevant or whether it needs updating, and you can adjust your affirmations accordingly. I find when I'm more consistent with things like that, you know, there's a lot of moving and shaking that happens.
Yeah, they'll go up and down the list of what's important to you or what's relevant to you. Exactly. You know, and I'll talk to that with the affirmations, because there's a wonderful way that you can incorporate that, as you said, into your goal setting and then getting a flow. So another tool in addition to the affirmations is a word for the year. An interesting little story, which I'll quickly jump through. When finishing my studies in holistic counselling and meditation last year, so I finished in November last year, and I think it was about September, October, we did a live call with our school. And as an exercise, we did word of the year. And just for the forward year, not financial or calendar year, just for the forward year while we're finishing our studies. Anyway, the word I wrote down was ease. Now, at that time, I had not established my business. I hadn't thought of a business name. I was just still really head on into my studies. So as the year went on, I kind of forgot about the word of the year, ease. I didn't think another thing about it. And I had started to put plans into place to get my business up and running. And I was absolutely stuck on a name that was equanimous, which is a beautiful word in the meditation and yoga space. Anyway, as it turned out, I went through all the research to try and have that business name, and I couldn't have it. So I sat for weeks, and just when a word came to me or an idea for a business name, I wrote it down. 3 months went by and ease popped up again. So ease is now the name of my business. So clearly that word manifested into something absolutely magnificent for me. So I feel very positive about word of the year. I've never done it before. I've never dabbled in that space, but it's in my heart now. It's really, really beautiful. It makes me smile so much because I'm so proud of where I've come from, and ease just fits, and it comes up so much in therapy with my clients, and it's just good. Yeah, it's really good. So my word of the year is ease. You can set one for anything that resonates with you, and go back to it. Write it everywhere. Write it on a Post-it note, and you put it on the dashboard of your car, put it on the fridge, put it on the mirror in the bathroom. Just put it everywhere, because it'll come back and it'll keep circling in your brain, and it'll remind you why you set that word and to refocus and get back into your goals and where you're going. So yeah, that's my little story with word of the year.
Kerry, did you have a word for this year?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, this year was love. Last year for me, my word of the year was joy. And
And you launched your Joy course last year.
I did. I launched a joy course. I've pretty much taken a completely new path in life. And, it all started with that three-letter word. So, and this year, I think love has really played out a lot for me when lots of unpredictable things come up. If you come back to love, you can't really go wrong. So, yes, I think a word of the year can be very, very powerful.
Same. Chris, did you have a word for this year?
I did, but you know me, I cheated because I can't use one word when I can use more. So mine was ease and flow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Flow
Twinning.
is good. Twinning.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
all
just
right.
wanted to really feel like I had more ease and flow in all areas of my life rather than feeling like I was challenged or making things difficult. So yeah, I'm trying, when I get stuck with something, I try and bring that in and just say, imagine if I could do this with ease and flow. What would that
How
look
would it
like? What
go?
do I need
Yeah.
to do to change that? So yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's so good. See, that's a win right there. 3 people. It's a 0 fail rate. It's awesome. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so affirmations. Personal affirmations are a great tool if a situation becomes emotionally challenging and feelings and old behaviors, particularly ruminating thoughts, start to creep in. When we're talking about that, we're talking about, oh my God, I've got so much to do. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm overloaded. I'm overwhelmed. Go to your book, read your affirmation, and it'll just, lift you like a plane taking off out of all of that busy and frenetic. And you'll just have a little bit of clarity because it's a simple sentence. So affirmations contribute to the reprogramming of the subconscious mind by reframing all of that chatter and busyness. They self-empower and they give positive belief system. And as I said, that enables us to move through or out of a negative experience with a lot less emotional upheaval, because you can feel quite heavy and weighted when you're in all of that busyness and you can't see a way out. And as Chris said, you can't get ease and flow. You've got to flip it. So your affirmation can help you flip it. They help you recover and feel back to a normal, calm state much quicker. Next slide. Tips for creating affirmations. So an affirmation is where you see yourself. So start with an I or my statement. An affirmation is a statement you believe to be true. So use a present tense verb like am. So I am going to achieve my goal for this month. I am going to implement flow and ease into my daily life. I am going to express love in all the things that I do. So there's 3 examples of a quick affirmation. But what I like to suggest is that you keep it obviously concise and precise, but set a new affirmation every month. And if you have a diary, I'm a bit old school. I still use a paper diary. I just can't get away from it. But you can write your affirmation for the month at the top of the page every day in your diary, or you can finish your gratitude journaling or just your normal journaling. Each day you can write your affirmation at the end of your journaling and use the same affirmation for a month, and then it really sinks in. And 2 months later, you might be doing something and you'll revert back in your mind to that affirmation that's planted the seed there that just gives you positivity and a clear mindset on achieving your goals and keeping going with flow. So you could also put a reminder in your phone. If you're an all tech person, you could put a task with a reminder or a daily reminder. I know on some computers you can put word of the day and you can set your own word in there, and you can put several words or an affirmation which will come across the screen. So there's lots of ways that you can have this, and do it the same as word of the year. Write it on a post-it note, write it on lipstick on the mirror. You know what I mean? Write it everywhere. Put it in the kitchen, because that's where a lot of us spend our time. On the dashboard of the car. There's so many spots where it can be implemented. You can also start your daily meditation with your affirmation for the month. And what I like, and I'm gonna probably hand over to Chris and Kerry, is that when we're doing this manifesting with the moon, the new moon and the full moon, this is a time also to bring in your affirmations. So they have a lot more skill set in that than I do, but I think it's a lovely way to just keep these things in the forefront of our mind so that we utilize them and achieve positivity from them. So yeah.
The other thing with affirmations, I've had some really fascinating breakthroughs with affirmations. And when I was first taught about them, it was to write them on the mirror and actually stand and do them in the mirror twice a day. So you have 3 to 5, and you fully stand yourself in a grounded position, make eye contact with yourself. That in itself is really challenging initially. And then take a few deep breaths and get really grounded and comfortable in your stance. And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you say that affirmation. I am, whatever. I am effortlessly abundant, say, for example. And then after you say it, you just pause for a moment and let it actually sink in so that you can fully embody that affirmation. The other thing I really love to do is just apply a drop of oil to my hands and do a beautiful scent tent before I start. So the Young Living Essential Oils, we may or may not know if this is your first time, listening to us speak. We are huge advocates for these oils. They are high vibration, they're pure, potent, and, amazing plant therapy. And so these oils are intuitive enough in that they take on the intention that you use them with. So if you put a drop in your hand, you activate it by just, turning your hand 3 times clockwise, the other hand, cup it over your nose, take a few nice deep breaths in, and then do your affirmations. And yeah, that's been quite incredible. And then you can select different oils according to the affirmation. For example, the abundance. If you have affirmations about abundance or wealth or things like that, there are oils. There's an abundance oil. There's an oil called frankincense, which is insanely high vibrational. So these oils are just going to add a bit of spunk to the affirmations as well.
Indeed. We can go next slide. Oh, and we're up to manifesting magic.
Oh, I've already seen a typo. That would be me. Moving
It's
too
all
fast.
right. Don't even worry about it. Okay.
So I come from a really sciencey background. I'm a real science nerd, and as Kerry is, and it took me quite a while to realize that one of the things that I really felt like I was missing was a bit of, and I'm a bit uncomfortable with the word spirituality, to be honest, but I guess I like to see that the world has more magic to it than just the science or the structure or the thing. So I really believe that, the oils like Kerry said, they have that vibration. And I guess the fact that it connects you more with nature, and as being a total city dweller, I feel like when we have the oils in our home and when we use them, it helps us feel more connected with Mother Earth. It just shifts something in us. And I know that the beautiful Zach Bush, who's a MD in America, he talks about the fact that when you breathe in the air outside, you're actually altering your microbiome of your skin and internally when it goes into your lungs. And so if we think about, now I don't actually know where the bergamot, does anyone know where the bergamot farm is? I actually don't know. But we think that when we open this bottle of bergamot, which just happened to be here because it's great for, if I was holding the wellness oil, I could say that it would be good for feelings of mild anxiety, but I'm not, so I can't say that. But if I'm breathing it in, I'm actually breathing the air from where these plants were grown and cultivated. And is that not magic? I mean, it's just, I just think that's magic, and I don't really know how to put that into words. But what I believe with with changing goal setting a little bit into manifesting is just bringing that magic into it. So there's been a lot of talk about it. There's been, The Secret and all these different, I think Oprah's a huge advocate for it. So I think we've all heard quite a lot about it. I guess probably the biggest thing is that when we're thinking of manifesting, it's really having something tangible that you want to achieve or create, and you want to bring it into your life. And it's not just by focusing and say working towards that goal, but it's also believing and creating the feeling in your mind of what that goal is like, of what it would feel like to have achieved that goal. For instance, I'll give you a working example. My new website is going to be launched on the 8th of August. Now, there's a lot of things with doing my website that I am not good at, and I find it difficult and uncomfortable. And I tell you what, it does not feel like ease and flow. So what I have to do in order to get through that work is I have to imagine what it's going to feel like after 2 years to have this website launched on Shopify, to have it the way that I want it to be, to fit, how proud I'm going to feel of it. And that brings the magic into it. So it helps me work through all the tough stuff and get through to get to that point. It's coming up close. It's only like 3 weeks ago, or even 2 weeks away. So I'm very excited. So that's kind of my point on manifesting rather than goal setting, or you just bring that sort of magic into it. Kerry, I wonder if you've got anything to add there as well, because I know that's.
Can you read my mind? I was like, I just need a break so I can just add this bit. I think, our science nut brains as well. It's not completely magic. It's also vibration. And so I think to keep it simple, everything vibrates with a resonant frequency. Every cell, every living thing. And if you are dying or dead or whatever, you don't really vibrate with such a high frequency. And I think in attaching to the feeling that you want to feel when you create what you desire, in terms of, I was talking to my daughter about this morning, actually. She's 11 and we're sitting in the car, and she really wants a Ferrari 599 Portofino in pink. And she was cross that her grandparents told her that would never happen. And I said to her, if you believe in something, if you have the capacity to dream up something, then you wouldn't dream it up if it wasn't something that you could achieve in your life. It might seem crazy to anyone else, but if you connect, like Cress said, to that feeling of what it will feel like when you have, whatever you desire, that is at an elevated place. Like, you have to become someone to move from where you are to that place. And in order to do that, your vibration needs to change. So in connecting with the feeling that you're going to have when you get there, that already is elevating your vibrational frequency, and therefore enabling you the sort of wider, I guess, availability to step into that. Does that make sense?
Totally. It's actually really good.
So it's all about vibration, really, a lot of it. And that's why the oils are so amazing to support that too, because they, with the inhalation of a drop, you can just elevate your frequency. Carry the bottle in your pocket, it can change your vibrational frequency.
I'm going to go off. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually saw something really good on TikTok. I never thought I'd start a sentence with that, and I'm hoping I can articulate it well. They were talking about manifesting being, it's building a bridge to where you want to go. And then the action of manifesting and the things that you do in terms of, for us, we're going to use oils as a tool, but we're also going to use writing our goals down as a tool, accountability with our, loved ones as a tool, and that's, accountability and support. But they're the bricks. And I just thought, building the bridge, but then you're putting the bricks in place. And I loved it. I don't know if I've articulated that well, but I was like, that's it. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yep.
And that's the affirmations and all of those things that Joe was speaking to as well.
Yeah, they're the bricks. I love it.
Yeah.
So here we go. I love this quote. Manifesting is making everything you want to feel and experience a reality via your thoughts, actions, beliefs, and emotions. We're not saying you just think it and it happens. That's crazy talk, but it also involves your actions. So let's talk about some of the ways you can do that. Do you want to jump in, Kerry, or?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So obviously we just spoke about thoughts, and your thoughts are so, so powerful. And we have some astronomical number of thoughts a day, and a disgusting amount of that number is negative. So your thoughts are really, really powerful, as are your words. So if you do nothing else, awareness around what your internal dialect is through the day, the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak about yourself, the way you sort of carry yourself. There's also, I'm not particularly great with statistics, but the number of women who apologize for just doing things. Oh, sorry, can I sit there? Why sorry? You don't need to be sorry. So, you know, you are worthy of sitting there. You don't have to apologize. So just sit there and own it. And so really being secure in yourself and positive, and catching the chatter that might take you, you know, the direction that doesn't serve you, and flipping it to something more supportive to your vibration, your elevation, and your, you know, building those bricks to cross that bridge. And yeah, actions related to that. There's power definitely in writing down your goals, as Jo said, and, you know, taking small steps in intervals that work for you, and having accountability around that. And one of my treasured mentors says, you know, it's about being in the arena. So don't just have a goal or want to manifest something and go, the universe is just going to bring it to me. No, you need to be in the ring. You need to be taking steps towards it. You can't, another thing she says is don't get caught up on the how. You know, you can't predict how it will happen. And sometimes rejection is redirection, but be taking small steps, you know, as you can towards what you're aiming for. And you'll be surprised at what opens up. The universe is very clever that way. And baby steps are quantum steps in disguise.
So Jo, at the Jo and I went. Kerry wasn't able to make it, but to an event that Young Living put on last weekend, and I had never been to anything like this before. But it was actually really a personal development event that happened to be held by Young Living. So there were so many fantastic talks, and I can't even remember who said that, but I really like that, because as someone who, you know, I have to monitor my self-talk, and my way of really like monitoring myself is, I think, would I say this to any of my 3 children? Because I just wouldn't. But one of them, you know, is that sometimes, as long as you're doing, like, even inching forward, you're making progress. And then sometimes just actually stopping and looking back and saying, well, wow, where was I a year ago? Like, what was I up to? And then just really taking note, and as if you were, you know, helping a friend or, you know, a child, you know, move forward. Sometimes we have to treat ourselves like that, like really baby ourselves. And in terms of this kind of self-belief issues, this can be where your friends can be very helpful. Thank you, ladies. But also, I'm also going to jump in here that I thought, it came to me this morning, and it was too late to put it in here, but of course I'm going to put it in there. So you guys have heard of the aroma freedom technique, right?
I haven't.
Yes, so it's developed by a psychologist in the US. He uses the Young Living products, and for years he had a psychology practice, and he decided that he wanted to bring the oils in. And so I was listening to a podcast about it this morning, and I was just thinking, yes, this should be in the talk, because I've heard it before, but I've just started to do the certification if anyone wants to do it with me. And so what he talked about was the fact that there's, you know, real hard evidence that using oils like frankincense and lavender and our blend Stress Away can actually shift the emotional response in your brain. So it affects your limbic system. You take one sniff of it, and he has a process by which he actually clears self-limiting beliefs, which are sometimes completely unrelated. Huh?
Sign me up.
Yeah. Sometimes they're completely unrelated to the problem that you're having at this current time. It might be related, like, you know, I dropped my lolly when I was a kid, and that made me feel like I was unworthy, and now I have to eat chocolate every day, or I do eat chocolate every day. Whoops.
Chocolate always comes into the
anyway,
conversation.
I'm just, you know, I'm so excited about that. But it just also, what I love doing is all these things that we use. I actually like, at the moment, trying to get the certification, or the mostly to understand the terminology and the vernacular behind it, so that you can impress its basis in science more to other people, coming back to my science nerd childhood and, you know, youth. But yeah, so there's a real strategy using the oils and a technique to clear self-limiting beliefs. But in the meantime, you can definitely rely on your friends who, you know, have those ones that will tell you the truth, and just say, no, actually, it's enough. Just move forward. Like, we're done with this. You know, you can have all the love, and sometimes you just need that little kick up the butt.
Totally. Well, it does that thing that I talk about where it just flips it. It's like,
Yeah.
And going back to your science thing and the aroma freedom technique, lavender has been a game changer for me since I've had these oils in that regard. And even my mum, like my mum has, you know, sometimes she gets quite overwhelmed and anxious, especially if she's got to drive from the Central Coast to here, and she'll get to my house and she's just not my mum. She's like this shredded woman who's just so tightly wound up. And I'm like, okay, just stop. Let's have some lavender. Let's do a scent tent, as Kerry said. Let's just take 10 minutes. There's no rush. And she'll just sit on the lounge and do that. And then she's like, oh, I'm back. It's just, and even for me this morning, I've woken up with severe neck pain this morning, flipped it in my head. I was like, you're not in pain. You're going to just go through today. Mixed up some marjoram and lavender. I smell delicious. And it's actually letting go, because my approach and my vibration to those two oils is releasing that tension that was in my neck. So I'm constantly shocked at the power of these oils, and that's not even, there was some slight manifesting for me this morning in terms of, please, I'm not going to be in pain today. I'm just going to work through this. But yeah, there wasn't even bricks really. I just said it in my head. So the power of it is insane, really. So yeah.
Oh, this is the bit where we get all excited.
Action stations, I'm in.
So does anyone know what today is? Kerry, you can't answer?
I do.
Joe, I'll let you answer. Go, Joe.
It's the new moon.
It's the new moon.
I read it this morning.
Yeah.
Not on
And
this
why
stuff.
on earth do we even care? if it's
Care,
on the moon?
exactly. Why do we care? Because it's the perfect time to set your intentions to manifest with the moon. The moon, the lunar cycle for eons, has been used to supercharge results. For me, I'm a massive fan of organic gardening, and so using permaculture techniques, they use the moon to decipher what things they should, when they should plow, when they should plant seeds for particular, fruits and vegetables and all of these things. And the reason why, because it works. But for women as well, and predominantly we're often talking to women, is we have our period, our menstrual cycle is the same period of time that for the moon. Sorry, I didn't said that properly, but we're very connected to the moon, and the more that we connect with that, actually usually the healthier we are. If you're someone that menstruates on the full or the new moon, that is often a sign that you're really quite connected with nature, and so that's really advantageous for you. But that can also shift. So if you menstruate during the new moon, you tend to have more of a healer energy around you. And if it's during the full moon, your energy is a little bit different. It's that you're more of a getting things done kind of phase. And that can shift. I don't know if any of you have had those shifts. I know that some of us, we've spoken about it before, so I won't go into that. But today's also the Leo new moon. And the sign of Leo is a lion. I've got a Leo son. His birthday's on Friday. So he's just like big personality. So can I tell you that this is the month to write your dreams down? So I am going to challenge anyone watching this to get in touch with us, but write down your dreams, write down what you want to bring into your life. And then I'm going to let Kerry go because I know she's desperate to talk. But yeah, today is the day to do it. You've got about 24 hours is the best time. If you've missed the 24-hour window, just do it anyway. Leo moon is here. Let's do it.
Awesome.
I love it. I'm covered in goosebumps. So I don't have an awful lot to add to that, but I do just so the new moon is where you state your intentions and you write your goals. And being a new moon, it's new life, it's new energy. So you can just really dream big and don't be afraid to. On that, two things that the biggest block to manifesting, whether you're using the moon or not, is lack of self-belief. So back to what we were speaking to before, please flip the narrative in your brain, flip the chatter and keep it positive. You can actually do anything you put your mind to. You just have to believe you can. And the other thing about manifesting and the moon and all that sort of thing is I was listening to someone speak recently, and they said if it feels too big to start with, just pick something small. And so I love this, and I'm a walking example of it. We have an aunt who always gets a car space at the front door, and it's Auntie Pat. And so whenever I go somewhere and I want a good car space, I will say I'm harnessing my inner Auntie Pat. Only, a few years ago when I realized that manifestation was a thing, I was like, I have been manifesting the best car spot for like 10 years. And so for the last week, my dad has been staying, and he had gout come down on him quite severely. And so I was like, right, I have to take him to get a scan, to the doctor, and then to pathology, and then to the chiropractor. And all 4 places, I got a car park at the front door of each of the stations. And that was purely through, we're just going to get a park at the front. That's just what's going to happen. That's what we need, and it's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, if your manifesting starts with something as small as a car spot, and you can do that, don't be afraid to step it up. There is nothing outside your limitations if you believe in yourself. And it's disconnecting from the how. It might not happen how you think or exactly when you think, but honestly, rest assured, it's crazy powerful, amazing stuff.
That's awesome.
Do you want to talk to the new moon, Kez? Full moon.
Oh yeah, full moon. I'll do a little bit. I think your full moon stuff is probably a lot better, but the full moon, I guess.
I'm going to catch you on your words there.
Sorry. Yes. I feel like
this is what you need friends for, people.
Yeah, this is it.
Here's the slide. You could just be inspired however you like, don't?
And then the full moon is when you sort of look back over your manifestation, work out whether you need to shift it or if you want to turbocharge it, and you can create different practices around that. So you kind of set the intention at the new moon, and then you release it to the divine at the full moon, because the full moon will supercharge the intention. There are lots of different full moon ceremonies you can do. There are different practices, but you can use the full moon to sort of clear out the parts of it that maybe don't serve you or that you're not aligned with anymore, and just, bolt ahead with that. Do you want to add to that, Chris?
Well, I was just going to say, if we come down to, you guys can all read this, but what's blocking you from receiving your desired outcome? Now, I have to say, is everyone a mad pyromaniac, or is that just me? Is there something really powerful about fire, right? So I've always got Palo Santo or sage around, because I really like to clear. I'm quite sensitive to energy, so I like to clear the energies, and I do it when I feel frazzled or anything. But with this is that what I love is we've talked about the fact that it's really powerful to write things down. So for instance, my goal, let's go back to my goal for the website to be launched. So what's blocking me from receiving my desired outcome is my self-limiting beliefs around the fact that I'm not good at tech, that I don't understand it, that I'm too old, I'm too slow. So I could write those all on a piece of paper, and then you go outside under the full moon and you burn it. And it is so fun. It is so good. And I mean, you can do all sorts of things. Depends how I like to classify everything as woo-woo, because I feel like people understand it. But I am totally woo-woo, so I believe in it all. But you can use crystals to supercharge it. You can use your oils to supercharge those intentions. But, just to write something down on a paper and just read it to yourself and then scrunch it up and burn it. Make sure you do that safely. It's very powerful. So I really encourage you to have a crack at doing that.
That's awesome. And I know you've done that with the kids and the family too, haven't you? I think New Year. Did you do something New Year, if I remember rightly, outside with burning things we no longer wanted or something like that? I remember that vaguely.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
So how do we bring in the oils? So there's a few things here. So we spoke before about the aroma freedom technique. Watch this space. Joe and I and maybe Kerry are going to get our certification, so we'll do another talk on that. And then I'm always trying to encourage people to do courses. Sorry. I have to learn to say no. That's why I'm like, maybe. I'm like, I don't want to put pressure on you. But just recently, Young Living had a sale it was worldwide for International Essential Oils Day. And so Gary Young, who's the founder, who developed the oils in the beginning, who had the idea of, creating these oils that were farmed responsibly and just all the care that goes into them, which is again another topic. He had designed this Great Day protocol. So that is it's everywhere. Actually, it got emailed to everybody recently, but I can attach that in the comments if you like. That is, I can't even remember the oils that it. In it, there's 3 oils, isn't there, Kez, or 4?
There's
White Angelica, Abundance, Bella,
release and
Release.
Bella.
Is that it? So 4?
Release. There are 4.
Anyway,
yeah.
we can put it in there. But then there's also just, if you don't have time for that or you don't have those oils, and reminding you that the oils take on, like Kerry said, the intention that you want them to have. So I don't have Abundance here. I've got something else. But you would just, with the Abundance oil, you would literally just put a drop in the palm of your hands. I like to, if I'm doing an intention thing, we call it activating. And so, you just rub them gently in your hands, and then we just put a drop on each wrist. And basically, you're just thinking like a gratitude. People love doing these gratitude journals. I know you guys write a lot, but I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. I just think it. So I'm building my bridges like a freeway. It's like I just think, boom, boom. What am I thinking? I want to bring that into my world. I believe that that's enough. You don't have to, writing is beautiful if you've got the time to do that, but don't let a lack of time stop you, or if you don't like writing, don't let that stop you from doing it anyway.
It's Harmony, Joy, Valor, and White Angelica. Sorry.
That's right.
Record.
To be precise. And then we just heard an energy worker and a lady, Artemis, who has been using the Young Living oils in Australia since 1999. And she developed this protocol, which we've got here. And she just said that when she started to use it, it really brought huge changes into her life. I have not started to do it. We only heard about it last weekend. I think Kerry heard it earlier, but I'm going to get those oils, or at least pull them together, and I'm going to have a try. So, if you guys would like to try with us, you don't have to tell us what you want to do, or what you're trying to bring into your life, but it'd be fun to do it together. We can remind each other and just try doing it. So they usually say if you do something for 21 days, we would encourage you to do it for the lunar cycle, just because we have that magic in our hearts. But yeah, so it's literally self-explanatory there. If you've got any questions, you can reach out to any of us. Yeah, just you guys have anything else to add?
Artemis talked to the 7 oil ritual and how the feedback came from her clients. She had suggested it, and the feedback was beautiful from a lot of people who tried it as well. So yeah, I'm keen to try it actually. I think it'd be lovely. And I'm really keen to get White Angelica oil. I don't have it yet, but I would really like to get it. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a hug in a bottle. It's something special about that oil.
Yeah, definitely.
Righty. I'm going to turn off the recording. So thank you, everybody. Actually, I have to bounce out a little bit first.
Thanks, everyone.
There you go. See you, everyone.
Beautiful.